Calling lovers and friends, the Punany Poets invite you to the perfect date night in Atlanta. For tickets and more information, visit us online at punanylove.com.
For 100 years, community coffee has been about two things, coffee and community. 4 generations later, our passion continues to be making responsibly sourced, great-tasting coffee while giving back to the communities we serve. In honor of Community Coffee's centennial year, let's raise a cup to the incredible communities helping to usher in our next 100 years. Because together, we make it great. Together, we make it community. Join Community Coffee's centennial celebration at communitycoffee.com.
Don't wait too late to plan your Valentine's Day. The Punany Poets deliver an interactive romantic comedy show tailored with poetic precision to black men and black women in love. This show will make your heart happy with audience interaction, sensual dance, comedy, kissing competitions, and love confessions. It sure is the perfect date night. So go on, man. Do something unforgettable. Get your tickets at punanylove.com. Jessica Holter will take it from there.
You are tuned into interviews with Ghetto Girl Blue. Journalism, heart, soul, and message.
Good evening, my beautiful people. You're tuned in to interviews. Ghetto Girl Blue, you're tuned in to interviews.
Hey, hi everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, it's the beautiful Ami has joined us tonight. Hello, Ami. How has your trip been to Atlanta? Yes. Well, I'm so happy to have you here in interviews with Ghetto Girl Blue. Some of you may know Ami because she participated in my first evening, which was 2 weeks ago. So this is our third show. Tonight, we are going to talk about Jezebel and the Madonna whore syndrome. And I think this is going to be a fascinating conversation that we're going to have tonight. In the past weeks, in case you've missed them, you can go back and check those out at leradio.org. Last week, we talked about misogyny in the Bible, and I kind of started that conversation with Sodom and Gomorrah. So I thought, wow, I really didn't get a chance to talk about women and how women are treated in the Bible and why so many people feel the way that they feel about women, including women, because of the way that we are depicted in history and in the Bible, as if we can either be whores or housewives, like as there is nothing in between. And of course, with being considered a whore, you're also considered a type of witch because you've learned how to use your sexuality to control situations or people. So yeah, I'm down for a great conversation. They got you all mic'd up, I mean?
I believe so. If she could see if that mic is on, I believe she should be in.
Can you hear me now?
Nope, you gotta put it up to your mouth.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Can we hear her?
I could hear her. She's just
Hello?
real soft.
I do speak very soft. I'll try to speak up, and
That's
sure
okay. She can adjust the mics for us. Plus, this is a delicate conversation, so we don't want to get to yelling and screaming up in here.
It will get intense.
Oh man, it'll get really intense. So, well, I'm just gonna start. For those of you who don't know, I am Jessica Holter, also known as Ghetto Girl Blue in the Oakland streets. And my background and my interest in some of the topics I'm going to be discussing with you guys, some of it comes from the Bible. And the reason I'm kind of having this little series right now is because there is this huge women's movement And I think it is imperative for us to understand what we are up against. It's one thing, as a journalist, which is my background, as a journalist, I understand you have to look at things from all sides, or as many sides as your brain can, allow you to. And this way, I'm not saying you have to believe all things. You believe what you want to believe, but understand that there are always other people with opposing views, and those opposing views have validity too. It's very interesting to me that a lot of liberal people, and I do consider myself liberal, but a lot of liberal people think that because they're standing on what they consider the side of right, then everything that somebody who is, say, conservative or whatever, everything they believe is automatically discounted. It has no value whatsoever. I kind of stand in the middle where I can see both sides. I can see that if we conduct ourselves a certain way, we'll get a certain result. No matter what. There's cause and effect in every situation. So this story about Jezebel just brings to mind how women are treated in society, how women are viewed, first of all, in society. So briefly, what had happened was Jezebel, she was a princess, and the country that she lived in was near another country that they were kind of at odds with each other or whatever. And Jezebel's father got her married off to like the king of the other country so that they could make peace with each other and like merge their resources. Yep,
I already have a question.
Mm-hmm.
How old is this young woman?
It does not say how old she is. But I get the feeling she was kind of young because she had a long reign. Like she kicked it for a minute. So she basically was like a power player, She already was royalty. She married somebody, a king from another place, became queen of that place. But now the thing is, see, her culture was different than the culture of the other place that she went to. Yeah. Where she moved to and became queen, it was considered very conservative. And she's from a place where they worshipped many gods still. She worshipped the god Baal. That was like the nature god, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know anything about Baal. Feel free to like chime in anywhere.
Oh, well, as we talk, the spirit will come in and say things,
okay.
As well. Because I study a lot of this stuff. Kind of grew up in the church, but moved away from the church and understood what it was to kind of have my own personal relationship with God and the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and does that go also to your femininity? Because I've been around your energy,
yes.
And so do you look at females as possessing a type of magic naturally?
I mean, that's what the whole goddess gang movement is about, right?
Yeah, but is that something that conservatives or men in particular should be afraid of? Is it dangerous to men? Is it dangerous to society?
Well, I would have to say the answer to that question is apparently yes, because before it was really about the goddess and goddess worship. And, in the very beginning, like we are mothers, we birth life, we create.
We create.
We create. I mean, it's like, that's it. I am.
At the far end of like male hatred, there are women who are like, all you know how to do is fucking break shit.
Right? So over time, we had to get away from the goddess mentality. Right? So that it is what it is now. I mean, the religion that most people study, whether it's Islam or Christianity, is, 2,000 or more years old, right? But before that...
Right, before that.
So
this was happening.
Right, her goddess culture. Like
yes.
I can, as you tell this story, I begin to see, like a flamboyant pearl and her whole little lifestyle.
She was flamboyant.
Right?
We're about to get into that right
I
now.
can see it, gold and red and coins on her skirt.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what they depict here, because they actually liken her to Cleopatra. And I recently did an audiobook, listened to an audiobook on Cleopatra, which was amazing. Like, she was boss. Like,
Oh yeah. Well, they mainstream turned Cleopatra white.
Yes, they did.
Right. So can you?
Well, clearly this story says so. I try to make my Bible stories like contemporary and not to throw people off with all these words, but she's from Phoenicia. She's a Phoenician princess. So yeah, she's definitely black, definitely of color, definitely into her
culture,
her culture, and also all the things like Don and I mentioned last week. The Bible says that women should not adorn themselves with jewelry and braids and fancy things and blah, blah, blah. And that's part of the conservative culture that goes against the grain of the women who lived in that time, as we know. In this time, even, women love to adorn themselves. So, yes. So as this story goes, she is ruling over this other country. They really don't appreciate her because they don't believe in what she believes in religiously. And then they say she kind of like lied on somebody so she could steal their land at one point. And the Bible does not like vicious women. Like, men get away with all kinds of stuff in the Bible.
Isn't that what men did? That was the custom. They lied, stole land.
She was a politician.
Exactly.
She did what she had to do. But whatever, she turned on somebody. She got his land.
Got some land.
She got his land.
She probably didn't even turn on him. He probably lost it in a stupid bet. I won $100 in a bar one night because this drunk man wanted to try and do some kind of drinking game trick. If you can,
yeah.
Yes, I can. Let's play the game. And I walked out of there with his $100.
Yes.
The bartender couldn't do it.
Right.
But I sure did.
Yeah, but you witch. How could you?
Exactly.
Right. So now this plus the way she dresses and all that, this kind of solidified the hatred that the people have for her. Now, keep in mind, she not from there.
Right.
She from a whole nother place. She ruling and making moves, and she female, and they don't like it. So they say, you know what? Let's go kill her son. If we kill her son, then that will take her power away, because a lot of times they will tolerate a woman being in office if they know that her son will take over. Right? But if you have no heirs, you're in dangerous water if you have no heirs. Okay.
I'm not going to say anything else because, we would talk for hours about
Oh,
this
yeah,
stuff.
we will.
So you just go ahead and tell your story.
We will. Okay. So then what had happened was they got so just disgusted with her that they decided to get rid of her. So I'm not sure who pushed her out the window, but somebody pushed her out of her window, threw her over a balcony into the streets so that she could be eaten by wild dogs.
I come from the streets, and I would have to say that sounds like a setup.
Oh, she definitely got set. Well, he predicted it. First, he predicted it, meaning, the Bible talks a lot about prediction, but you have to consider what is prediction and what is putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might put an idea out there. Like, I might say, oh, this person is a revolutionary. Somebody's going to end up killing him. And at the moment I say that, I'm putting it in people's heads so that they could do it, because somebody predicted that she would be thrown in the streets, trampled by horses, and eaten by dogs. And next thing you know, like a few years later, somebody actually threw her in the streets.
Because what I understand about the way the universe works is once you put it out there, you begin to manifest things.
Yes, you do.
And in that time, those minds were not confused with TV and Wi-Fi and pesticides and GMO food, right? We were much closer to the source. So our telepathy, the way we communicated, the way we educated, the way we dealt with each other and interacted, I think was so much more like natural and energetic, you know, vibing, and you just happen to manifest what you think about. So somebody said this in a public square about this woman that's on the throne when my daughter should have been married to this prince.
Right.
So she's going to get trampled in the streets after she falls. No. You put that out there.
They put it out there.
Man.
Put it out there and manifest it.
Yeah.
Which, you know, brings me to today when we decide to jump on some social media bandwagon about someone putting things out there that may not even be true, but yet we're hashtagging and retweeting and liking things, not even taking the time to click through and read articles that are associated with the thing or anything, like just jump in one. Okay, so like, for example, the young man from Jussie Smollett, from the actor from Empire.
Yes. Interesting.
You know about that?
I do. And, you know, I don't watch TV and watch the news, but I get the social media stuff. And 2 ideas have surfaced.
All right. Let's hear those.
Well, one is that the brother was attacked by some homophobic white people who tried to lynch him. Mm-hmm. The other is that it was a publicity stunt from him and the network, because his show was losing ratings, is what I've seen so far.
From the show losing ratings?
Or not, maybe not being as popular as it has been in the...
I just think, first of all, I tend to believe people first. Like, even the court says, like, you are innocent until proven guilty, first of all. Second, it was different at first. When I first heard this story and I didn't realize he was at home, I thought he was in some strange city on tour and that happened or something, kind of like, why are you walking around at 4 a.m? He was down the street from his apartment. It's like he got the munchies or something and went to the store. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was late at night.
The situation that goes with that he was out there looking for some meat, not just out there trying to get a sandwich at Subway.
Okay, but why are they actually saying this?
Yes,
They're saying this because...
I just know that these two, I'm not saying one way or the other, but this is the information that I have seen out there.
Right, and how people jumping on this don't even know him.
Jumping on it, and both sides, though, and how close? You don't know the brothers exactly.
Well, the thing is, he's given his account to the police, so we are supposed to believe his story until something comes up that tells us that we cannot. And the fact that people just right away jumped on him. First of all, honestly, people, I think half of the reason they treated him like that is because he's light-skinned. I know I'm reaching. But people made some comments about that, like, well, he's not actually a black man. I'm like, really? Then you actually didn't have a black president. So the thing is, you know, I think if he was like a manly looking dude, or what we think of as manly looking, I think what's under attack is his femininity. The witch in him, the fact that he is a pretty gay man who is able to seduce people, we automatically think he must have been out there trying to seduce people in the street. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, well, you know what? First of all, let me just say that I really think people need to stay out of people's bedrooms.
Well, you know that ain't gonna happen.
I know that ain't gonna happen, but for real, unless you're trying to be in my bedroom, can't we just be friends first? Why are you worried about what's going on in my bedroom? You know, I might love you and you know, want to talk to you and get to know you and stuff, but you're worried about my sex life, and you know, we haven't even got that far yet. Right. So it's really flabbergasting to me, this whole the way the goddess is used and disrespected, yes, and set up, yes, to be the patsy or to take the fall, or to be obliterated in fiction for history, for his story. Exactly. And so I contend that I think, you know, the reason that they attacked him, his character like that, automatically is because of the femininity in him. And he's black, and how many?
If it was just
gay,
some dark skinned straight dude walking down the street at 2 in the
How
morning,
many gay mainstream media stuff do they promote all day long? So why in 2019? Like, are you really surprised? It is surprising that he would be attacked when there's so much of that male gay, like it's so accepted.
Well, also I was thinking, because people were like, who's out there with just bleach randomly? And that did run through my mind. But people have stuff in their car. Plus,
not only that, but white people lynch niggas.
Well, he was at home. You see what I'm saying? So his neighbors know him. They know he lives there. They know he gay. They know he on the show. Like,
so all I'm saying is, and you know, I deal with a little bit of history. The KKK will ride out and come get you, right?
Yes, they will.
So maybe they decided like going to get him.
I don't know.
And it could have really been anybody, or it could have been like, okay, guys up north in Chicago or whatever, it's your turn to stir up something. Go get this guy. Or go get this guy. It doesn't matter. It's a random black. It could have been a random black man. Maybe it was supposed to be a random black man.
That's true.
But they
and that's just who they saw. That is so true.
So, you know, and I don't know what day it was. So was he coming home from a club at 4 o'clock?
He was coming out of his apartment going to like 7-Eleven.
In one of those cities that stay open 24 hours a day. Isn't that Babylon that stays open 24 hours?
Hey, Babylon is open right now. We are in it. And it never sleeps. It never sleeps.
But for real, you go to Babylon in Chicago, in Atlanta. Babylon was here this weekend, from what I understand.
Was it?
New York.
What'd you get into this
Francisco.
Weekend?
Oh.
Sidebar.
Sorry. Well, we'll have to talk about that later, because you know I'm a gangster up in here in these streets. So we can't talk about that live on air, you know. But
okay.
I thought you were going to tell us a story, Ghetto Girl Blue.
That was pretty much it.
Oh,
that's what they
wow.
did. Like there's a longer
they
story,
set the
but okay. So the thing about it that really kind of did her in, though, because it's funny because you brought up something that when I was reading this, I was like, oh yeah, snap. So the reason that they really also
wait, and they tried to lynch her son.
Oh yeah.
So like who is Jessie related to?
Well, they're trying to get her out of power. Really, they're trying to get her out of their White House.
Children.
They're trying to get her out of their White House.
I understand what having your children
Yes.
having somebody come for your children.
Yeah.
I know what that is. So, she's the Madonna, she's the whore, all wrapped up in one, and they don't know how, like, I'm going to go back and read some
So
of these
the
stories.
thing about it is so she knows that this dude is coming to kill her. Mm-hmm. She's already heard word of mouth, whatever she knows, or her intuition, whatever
she's a witch.
Right. She knows that he's going to kill her. So instead of getting all suited up with armor and fighting, or getting her boys to come help her, instead of doing any of those things, apparently she put on makeup and got dressed up, put on jewelry, and was looking hella cute when he came.
Like I did last night?
Like you did last night.
Was it last night or the night before? It was the night before.
Probably both nights.
No, well, yeah, But I let Karis put me in a dress. Did you see that? Oh my God.
You're looking
I'm
hot.
blushing right now.
Looking like Jezebel.
I had somebody
Ready.
Exactly. Looking like Jezebel.
Ready. You coming to kill it, or you coming to kill it? What's up?
How many of them came out the woodwork talking about you shut down the internet? Where you been? Y'all sleeping.
See? Witchery.
Y'all all sleep. Man, hey.
Witchery, you had that ponytail.
Did you see it?
In the dress. Sparkles.
Never again.
Yep. That's exactly what Jezebel did. So some people say, now people stand on both sides, kind of like how they do with this Jussie Smollett. Both sides of this argument are, the first side is, well, she knew that her death was inevitable because they had been after her for so long, and now she was facing they were going to kill her son. So they said maybe she got dressed up so that she could die with dignity. Dressed up like you would at a funeral. And some people say she got dressed up in hopes that she could seduce the guy that was coming to kill her. And because of that, her name has gone down in history as, what does it say here? Has been used for thousands of years to describe a cunning, ruthless, and reprehensible woman.
So the energy that is coming up for me right now is Frida Kahlo.
Yes.
Right? Wasn't she kind of one of those women who spoke up, but you know who her husband was? Well, he's a world famous artist that was sleeping around on it.
But I think she got away with more because, like, she wasn't a beauty queen or nothing. She was just a revolutionary. This lady, I think they're condemning her extra hard because she was into like her own God and her own jewelry and her own, like, they didn't like her stilo. She was too loud with it.
I think they just set her up, and that's what they do to women who are in power. And then that's why everything has changed now, and why we're so excited that, women are starting to run for president.
Yeah, but I'm nervous. I'm nervous because I think we need to have an understanding of what we're up against. So I'm gonna leave it with that. Let's think about that, ladies. Let's think about what are we really up against. We're at a time where they keep showing us old slave movies, and they keep showing us, they got this TV show called Handmaid's Tale. They're really giving us a real good picture of what they would like to have us become. So let's think about that during this break, and then we'll be right back. And we're going to move into the Madonna whore syndrome and how that manifests itself in our psyches. I think it'd be better.
Love bows to furious rage in a curious cage called the ghetto, wielded by clenched fists, overseers' nightsticks, cocked gun. Choke hold me for a little while, as if I had not been sold to serve in the big blue house. Alone in a concubine suite, there she sleeps in a casket of glass. Perfection, untouched, untested, soundproof. Where is the music? Where is the music? Confined concubine hips cannot sway in the way of ancestors while they lay for a master in blue. She be so beautiful, so fair. He will keep her near, like trees that fall and make no sound when no one is around to hear. Is beauty beauty if it is unseen? You shattered the glass with your chains, ran like a slave, humming prophetically. She could never be me, but you can't give me what I need. When all of the glass had fallen, I sent my dogs to catch you. You returned battered, bruised, yet stronger for it. Together, unseen, the world slumbers. I want your hands about me. But having surpassed the physical, we mystically made love mentally, infecting me with desire to live again, injecting danger into swollen, wanton hips, sucking venom from cursed lips, which no longer beg for, but live of and in freedom. Why should we run away? My blood is the putty on his walls, foundation of master's name. We should not run away. We should run to his bed and fuck in his bed like savages, and watch his blue house burn in our afterglow. My hero under master's hand again. Runaway king, you croon the song of Billy, for I, the master's wife, under master's hand again. We should not run away. We should run to his bed and fuck in his bed like savages, and watch his blue house burn in our afterglow.
Call calling lovers and friends. The Punany Poets invite you to the perfect date night in Atlanta. For tickets and more information, visit us online at punanylove.com.
For 100 years, community coffee has been about two things, coffee and community. 4 generations later, our passion continues to be making responsibly sourced, great tasting coffee while giving back to the communities we serve. In honor of Community Coffee's centennial year, let's raise a cup to the incredible communities helping to usher in our next 100 years. Because together, we make it great. Together, we make it community. Join Community Coffee's centennial celebration at communitycoffee.com.
You are tuned into interviews with Ghetto Girl Blue. Serenading heart, soul, and message.
We are so glad to have you back. Thank you so much for tuning in to interviews with Ghetto Girl Blue. Tonight, my guest is Miss Ami Brown, and she is a healer. We are talking about Jezebel. We were talking about Jezebel, and we've moved on to talk about the Madonna Whore Syndrome. And I think the best way to start that conversation is by talking about energy and what role energy plays in people's intimidation of other people. And so I wanted to have Miss Ami Brown talk to you guys about that. But first, can you tell them about some of your practices, some of the things that you know how to do with your magic healing hands?
Well, I guess I just listen with these hands and try to help create a healing space for people. Energy. Yeah, too calm. Well, I mean, that's energy. Sometimes the energy is calm, and there's like really just so much that I could say.
I'm sure there's a reason she's calm right now.
Yeah, I mean, when you do body work, the energy moves you, and they tell you to calm yourself first, right? Because if you come to work on another person and you got your own stuff going on, then you can transfer that. That's why some people don't have a good experience when they have massage and when they do body work. Excuse me. So I use massage and body work interchangeably because most people think that massage comes with a happy ending.
Does it?
I don't know. They didn't teach that in any of the 3,000 plus hours that I've taken.
They didn't?
They didn't. I mean,
how could they avoid that?
Because we don't have sex with our clients. The touch of massage is supposed to be appropriately intimate. And again, this goes back to being in people's bedrooms. You know,
right.
When you have sex with somebody, you are releasing your life force and your energy. If you ejaculate, if you come, if you orgasm. This is your life force physically leaving your body. Some people is stronger than others, and some people have a weaker life force. And then that weakened life force, that affects your kidneys. But that's the physical body and the emotional body, the energetic body interacting. And like I said, everybody's different.
Okay, so since you took us here, we have questions. Ami has answers.
I can answer questions.
So then really, if you use your...
Okay.
So then really, are you saying that if you use your power of your healing hands, or if someone uses their sexuality to draw an orgasm out of someone, or to draw their their sexual conclusion from
So
them. Is that some type of witchery in essence?
No, that's
You're
your
pulling
chi.
their life force from them?
Yeah, so if you have a bubble of energy, your heart produces an energetic field. Your mind produces an energetic field. And this vortex that comes out of you is so big, right? And if you're healthy, then your vortex is going to be bigger. You know, you're young, you're vital, you're not necessarily your hormones, but your hormones and your systems are working together. So fear is stored in the kidneys.
Yes.
Yes. The kidneys are also the place where your Jing energy is, your life force energy, that is your energy from your mother and father, your universal energy, plus the energy that you get for being yourself, or that comes from being yourself. And then those two energies are so powerful, they create this being.
That's so amazing, huh?
It is. The prenatal breath and the postnatal breath, they're still in most people's belly because we don't breathe down into our bellies. We slowly, as we age, stop breathing into our bellies. You notice babies breathe differently than adults do, or older people, or people who are close to death. Right? So throughout your life, as you have sex and you interact with people, you give them your life force, especially if it's an intimate situation. Me being
a little,
well, it is
a little closer.
A little closer. Is this better? Oh, almost.
So what were you saying? So are you saying that the more sex you have in your life, the more of yourself you're giving up?
Yeah, and not just yourself emotionally, but yourself physically, so that you eventually die. Like you're giving away your life force, that serious life force.
And how can it be replaced?
Through things like Tai Chi, the moving of the energy around that you were talking about, the replenishing of the kidney energy, the mixing the breath, the prenatal breath and the postnatal breath.
So all that breathing and meditation,
so all
and all that type of stuff
works on that energy that the kidneys emit, right? Your life force energy and also your sexual energy. That's why Kundalini yoga and tantric stuff is so popular right now, because people are beginning to wake up and understand what their bodies need. And I personally, I don't know a lot about tantric activities, but I do know that they often get confused with sexual activities.
Right. It's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. It's a different connection. It's an energetic connection. You connect your breath. You connect your vibration with somebody else's vibration. Like we're all the same person, having different experiences, different perspectives, right? Getting different energy because of who our parents were, because of what our karma is.
Okay, so we're all in one big circle of life.
Basically. And we each vibrate a little bit differently. But when you do these breathing techniques, when you do body work and you get your body in harmony with self, with a harmony with the universe, then you are able to open yourself up and vibrate with somebody else. That's why the moving of the chi can be done by another person, and it can be done from across the room.
Okay.
But that energy in your kidneys, again, is your life force energy that make like your battery pack. And it's also your sexual energy. So when you're exercising your sexual energy, you're empowering your life force, or you're draining your life force.
So does it matter who you're having sex with? Like, does it?
Yes.
How does that? How do our choices affect our life energy?
Oh,
how do our sex partner
I'm
choices?
sure everybody has seen those memes going around with a demon sucking the life out of you as they're having sex with you. Like everything is energy. Like the person that you are in an abusive relationship with, he, she, them are taking your life force from you. and just sucking your energy up. They just sucking, because we interact with each other so that we get energy from each other. That's why isolation is such a kind of deadly thing. You know, people isolate themselves. They have no human contact. And it could be very mind-blowing. You know, you could lose your mind if you're not talking to people, interacting with people, getting that energy from people.
There was this really cool movie. I'm sorry, girl, you know I'm goofy. I digress. There was this movie with Brittany Murphy in it. It was like the last movie she did before she died. I loved that movie because I tend to want to... I tend to be reclusive, like very reclusive, and it makes it hard sometimes when I am around people. I get exacerbated easily.
Well, that has to do with the different type of energy also.
What do you mean?
I mean, some people are more open to the energies, not just in the same room, but in the world, and even bigger in the universe, right? So I think as we are all vibrating next to each other, we all have a variation of this perspective of this huge circle. You know, maybe think of it as a circle with strings coming out of it, and we're all the strings, but we're all vibrating a little differently. You know, the breathing and the sex and the connecting with people, we get everything vibrating in the same, not just hell of like static. Right? We create sound, we create music, we create Om. Om is the sound of the universe. And I have to tell you, you know, as I became a yoga therapist and I'm sitting in my living room waiting for my lover, practicing my Oms and chanting, and then we have sex. He hears the Om, he says the Oms, and we open up and then we make love. It's really amazing.
Is it really amazing?
God, really amazing?
Is there like an Om class we could take?
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Like some online stuff. What should they look up online? Like if you want to learn how to use your energy more effectively.
I think it's going to be different for everybody. And we can kind of, you know, keep going on and on about different types of energy in different directions and stuff. But I think the one place and the purpose of Om is that's where you start. So you can go on YouTube, you know, you go on your Google Play Music or whatever, and you listen to just Om stuff.
So like start basically with meditations then?
Yeah. I mean, you really have to go inside to start to listen. Listen to your own vibration, because as you know your own vibration, you can share that with somebody else.
Now, so what makes people, a lot of what you're saying right now, there are a lot of people out here going, that is some witch shit.
Yeah, and I know.
Right now, they're saying that right now. Somebody out there is like, they're on some old crazy, hippie, goofy witch stuff.
Okay, well, let me maybe explain it like this. Everybody knows that you have kidneys and a bladder. You have kidneys and a bladder, and this system works together to hold your fluids in place, to balance out all of your fluids. In this water element, your kidneys and bladder controls your fluids. You have life. Water gives you life. Life is disrupted by fear. And life grows in love, right? You can create a human when you love somebody, when you're not afraid of them and you have sex with them. Or you can strengthen yourself and not totally give completely. Just interact. You know, I'm trying to be sensitive here.
So the person who is... Oh, no, you're good. You can say whatever. But the person who gives but holds back, I feel like that person is the person that they would want to control better, right? Like, okay, I guess what I'm saying is, I think the fantasy is that girls are soft and tender. They are to be taken care of and owned to a degree, and that type of thing. And those are the women that for example, the Bible treasures, women who don't dress too loudly, women who carry themselves a certain way, who are good mothers and subservient to their husbands, is supposed to be the goal, according to Christian ideology, which is all I really know about. But a woman who is capable of connecting physically and not necessarily losing herself emotionally is more like on hoe status, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, you're expected to make sure that I finish. Or I'm expected to make sure that you finish.
Yes.
And, even saying that makes me slightly feel like a molested child. Well, and I say that because it is like I'm responsible for making sure that you climax and you come to an end,
right,
whether I want to be or not.
Yes.
And I think that as we learn these things about our bodies and about ourselves and about our partners' bodies, that is not so taboo. It's not so like I'm able to open your combination lock. Now, how far do I want to take it? Right? And is it appropriate to take it there?
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could determine the difference between fucking and making love.
Right.
Right? If you're making love, then you're worried about your partner and how they're doing. If you're fucking, you're kind of just worried about yourself and getting it over with.
Yeah.
Or doing,
right,
satisfying your own needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So, why would a man prefer the subservient woman? Well, maybe I guess so they can control better?
I guess.
Or where's this fear coming from? Where's this fear of loose life women coming from? Like, what are they afraid of? If they bring you pleasure, then why is society so against
afraid
a
of
woman
who will bring you pleasure?
Who's free, yeah. Emotionally, mentally free, and sexually open.
Maybe because she can control you.
Maybe because she can control you. I'm so glad you said it.
Can control you, and that energy controls, she will be able to control you. She is powerful and can change your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Into thinking that whatever I want you to think, whatever the woman wants you to think. And people are afraid of that because I don't want you making my husband think something.
Right.
I'm supposed to make him think that or think whatever.
Yeah, but then when we talk about this Madonna whore syndrome, that's kind of like after you give birth to children, sometimes your husband won't be as attracted to you sexually.
Now you're like his mother.
You're like his mother. You're like you have the different power.
Yeah, you have different power.
Yeah.
And you're somebody's mother now. I can't soil you like I used to.
Right. Can't come on your face.
Yeah, I can't do that. Kids might kiss you on your cheek and that would be all bad. I can't soil you anymore. I can't have my way with you.
Yeah.
Because you need to be available to take care of the children at all times.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're here for.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that in somebody's song, I got my wife at home, but he out in the club popping bottles and stuff?
My wife at home.
Right.
Which, I mean...
With the horse. He at the club with the horse,
yeah.
And he got his wife at home.
Yeah. So now that women are trying to move into this freedom of choice, freedom of life, freedom to be a woman, and all this stuff that they're
the
trying to do.
reawakening of the goddess.
Yeah, but how are we going to protect
and
ourselves?
Didn't you say something about Baal? B-A-A-L?
Yes, B-A-A-L is who she worshipped, the lady
right,
in the
that
story.
cat, correct?
Yes,
yeah.
Baal. Yeah.
The goddess, the woman goddess
yes.
is a cat.
Yes.
So they turned the black cat into a superstition. Something for you to be scared of. Right? Something for you to be afraid of.
Thank you so much for pointing that out to me. Yes.
Well, I mean, so this is what's happening now. We are who we've been waiting for. We are our ancestors coming back, waking up in whatever bodies we need to. And women are knowing about Baal. The witches are waking up and coming back together. So, of course, the conqueror's got to suppress all of what we are remembering naturally. Our melanin, our darkness, our blackness is coming back. The stars are aligning. The universe is aligning. The devil's time is up. And maybe...
but is it, though? But is the devil time up? Or is the devil time...
I think devil's got...
Is it going to get worse before it gets better?
I think the spirit told me they got 89 years left.
Really?
Mm-hmm. See, that's what I did this weekend. I came out here and I was working, of course. I had a client and had to do this, that, and the other, and hurry up and wait to do a whole bunch of stuff that didn't get done. But I came out here to get my cards read by this brother that I seen on Instagram. Because that's what I wanted to do.
Really?
Yes.
And how did that go?
Oh, it was amazing.
Really? Did you find out some really great stuff?
Yes. About people and about interacting with people, because I don't really deal with a lot of people. I be alone a lot. I take that time to myself to get to know myself, as I'm transitioning into the second part of my life as being somebody's grandmother now. So it's just really amazing when you can speak your own language with somebody.
Yeah.
And connect with them. I have always said I don't like to speak English. And this is the only language I speak. I can say please and thank you and how are you in about 7 different languages, but that's about it. But this language is it doesn't feel comfortable.
It feels
communicate.
limiting?
Yeah, it feels very limited to communicate in. So when you can sit down and you can speak to somebody without knowing them and speak in parables, use your slang from wherever you're from, or use all the slang from all the places that you've been, and the metaphors and everything, and just give that to somebody, and they totally understand you. Like, that's powerful.
Yes.
So, yeah, currency is energy.
Yeah.
They have put our energy into the dollar and have got people twisted. Going off trying to make this dollar.
That is some mastermind shit.
Right.
Do you realize that?
For 2,000 years, and they have 89 years left.
Okay. We'll see. Well, we won't see. We won't see. But, all right, so there's a prediction. Well, I don't know. Last year was the first year that old white men started getting real nervous in the United States, because it's the first year that more white people died than were born. So this begins the decline. So white women are putting their foot down. They're not sitting at home having 20 kids and all that stuff. They're pursuing their careers and their personal interests and traveling and not drinking that Kool-Aid. Like,
they're not producing.
They're not producing
and they're going
the
to
heirs.
having mixed babies.
Yeah, they're having mixed babies. They're having black babies. They're adopting children, from all over the place.
I think that's because the women are waking up and we're tired of their shit. And you can think of, this awakening as, governmental or male and female.
I strongly feel like the male-female thing is the biggest problem, because as a group, women are more than half of the world's population. That is the biggest group. And we are the biggest group being oppressed by every single society, pretty much.
The goddess is waking up.
All over the globe.
The goddess is waking up.
All right. Well, I'd like us to start getting prepared for what we're going to do with that power, because most people, we need leaders.
Well,
I'm looking to see who we're going to be looking to.
Here.
Well, I'm looking to see who we're going to be looking to. Like, I'm going to start looking at the books that are coming out right now and following a little more closely to see where the doctrine is actually going to take us, because a lot of these movements are weak. Like the Me Too movement, to me, even the title of it sounds like whining. Me too. I can't. It's not enough, because it really just speaks to, oh, this happened to me. And what kind of empowerment can you really get from that outside of solidarity with people? You have to have something else planned for. Me too, then what? Like, okay, so now that there's a tribe of us and we've all been abused, what we can see is that this is universal. It crosses all socioeconomic and racial lines, and it is indicative of the larger problem, which is they believe that they're better than us. Men believe that they're better than women.
And they have been suppressing the goddess.
Yeah, since the first book of the Bible, for sure.
So I think that's
look,
what
Mary.
it is.
Eve responsible for the whole fall of mankind.
Yeah, that's the beginning of the suppression
the very
of the goddess,
beginning,
right?
Yeah.
So like I said, I think and maybe it's having those little tidbits about black cats being, superstitious and bad, and 13s and all of that kind of going together, and then we're like, hey, wait. It's not, that's not what it, that's what you say it is, but, I experience something else when I come across that.
Well, I feel we're going to wrap up soon, but I feel so blessed to have met you and some of my other amazing friends that do incredible body work and energy work. So I want to shout out Nikki Morgan, who brings that touchless orgasm to the scene. She's amazing. That. When I can afford to get you up there or to get her down here.
Where is she?
She's in New York. She's in New York, and she hurt herself recently. We're praying for a speedy recovery for your feet. Nikki Morgan, and then also Miss Sani. When I could bring Sani to Atlanta, I'm looking forward to having a whole energy workshop where we can talk about really the power of energy. In the meantime, ladies who are listening, don't be so quick to throw ideas away or to judge ideas and say, oh, that's against God or that's against. Just be open-minded enough to look into information when you are presented with it. The internet is like free. Like you can get all kinds of perspectives.
Everything.
Question everything.
Question everything.
Question why they told you sex was dirty, and every place that a woman sits when she's on her period is filthy and she should not be touched, and couldn't sleep in the house if she was bleeding.
Right, and
consider that times have also changed.
Yeah. Don't they do like female circumcision in some places?
Oh.
Like, what is the purpose of that?
We're going to talk about female circumcision in 2 weeks. We're also going to talk about male circumcision, but I have more to study before I bring that conversation up. But 2 weeks is the discussion on circumcision and what on earth.
This is like going right after your life force and your sexual energy.
Because they know.
Yeah.
Somebody know. Those scientists, they know. They know what's up. So next week we're going to talk about the natural life. We're going to try to do some exercises, spending a few days or a weekend without makeup, without our weaves, without the external stuff. And we're going to talk about skincare. So I hope to see you then. I'm not doing the video right now because we haven't really perfected it, and I feel so much more comfortable with just the microphone. But I will be posting videos on my channel at Coffee TV. That's COFFY TV.com. So you can see videos from here inside the studio, from our live tour dates, and in-studio videos that we make with our dancers and performers. And don't forget to join us on tour. Me, Ghetto Girl Blue, Jessica Holter, with the Punany Poets. I'm hoping to get Ami to come and sit in on a couple of the cities, Virginia in particular. So check out the tour dates at www.punanylove.com. PUNANY love.com. Peace, y'all.
Don't wait too late to plan your Valentine's Day. The Punany Poets deliver an interactive romantic comedy show tailored with poetic precision to black men and black women in love. This show will make your heart happy with audience interaction, sensual dance, comedy, kissing competitions, and love confessions. It sure is the perfect date night. So go on, man. Do something unforgettable. Get your tickets at punanylove.com. Jessica Holter will take it from there.
This radio podcast is brought to you by HIP INC, an educational-based nonprofit arts collective where creative minds come together, share, and create art. You can become a member, donate, and sponsor by going to www.hipinc.org. Like them on Facebook at The Hip Team and on IG at hip_INC.